Recording has started. Well, we're doing it again. We're here at the Underground Gospel Show. We're in the. It's not a secret lair in any way, shape, or form. It's a recording studio outside of Nashville, Tennessee, because Nashville, Tennessee has a couple of recording studios. But anyway, I'm a few miles outside Nashville at the what we call the Tech, and it's let's see, we're doing the Underground Gospel Show. I usually started with the opening sequence. Oh my goodness. Bye. Okay, we're back at the Underground Gospel Show. It's really funny, I don't know how many of these I've done. Well, actually, I do because I can go right over here to my shows and see that this one here is episode number 104. And I have to clean up my episodes. I'll do that today because I have done this episode 105 and I know that's not right. So I'll clean this up. I believe it's episode 104 right now. And I still make like bonehead mistakes. Like, okay, I'm starting this thing without my opening credits. So there you go. That happens sometimes. But you are at the Underground Gospel Show. This is a safe place to hang out. There's no trolling, no swearing. This is only for blessings. And if you like what you hear, remember to subscribe. I'm supposed to say that, even though we play on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube live every Friday and Saturday night. If you want to support what I'm doing, there's tip codes on my website, which is, let me get over here and turn on my website. Let's see. I should make this in a separate screen. That would make life a little bit easier for me. Um, let's see. You can go to this right here is my website. And if you go here, you actually, let me do this too. I will, during the beginning of this, turn on the tip code in case you're watching this on your computer and you want to go ahead and take a picture of this. If you hold your phone over this, it will goes directly to PayPal, and you can send me, a couple of bucks if you want to. You can also go to night.music.com, and you can sign up on our Patreon page. You can see this 4 to 6 weeks sooner than everybody else. It lives on the evergreen world of YouTube, so you'll be able to watch these episodes over and over and over again to your little heart's desire. And I gotta tell you, sometimes I look and go, I've had 2 views, and it's been up for like a half a year. And I look at other ones, it's like been up for 3 months, and I have 400 views. I'm like, I I don't get that. And here it is. I'm my second year into doing this, and I know 20 years from now, I'll be looking, I'm going, I have 30 million views. How did that happen? What happened? Because of you. And I want to thank every one of you who are watching these shows. And I know that, it's a long game here. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, well, I did YouTube for 4 months and it didn't make me any money. And I'm like, well, you should, number one, not do it because you want to make money. You should do it because you have something to say and something that you love to say. And number two, you got to have a long game. I mean, it takes, I can't remember what the numbers are. I should look at those later on today. The numbers are like 1,000 videos before you have enough followers to make a decent living off of it. I have a couple hundred followers, and it's going to be a while. But I know it's a long game. I'm in here for the long haul. I figured, 10, 15 years, I'll be doing the show. So enjoy. We'll be here. We'll be with each other for a while. Anyway, go back to my housekeeping. Um, you can go to music.com. Find out the show times, links, cool garments, the lyrics to the music. There's my contact email is there, live show information, and how to support me monthly for less than a cup of coffee, unless you go to McDonald's, the Irish company, and use their app, which is a large coffee for a dollar, 99 cents plus tax. Anyway, I don't sing so that God can speak directly to your heart. There are sponsorship opportunities. There's always an opportunity, guys. There's always opportunities. This world is plethora of opportunities. And if you would like me to come to your church, your city, or your event, I would immediately have to go, why? And then, secondly, yes. So, yeah, give me a holler. I'd love to come hang out with you guys. So, that's it for the housekeeping. We'll put that away. Today's actual show is, I'm excited about this. I'm going to be talking about something slightly different than what the message here is, which I'm going to read. This is our sponsor right now. I'm just saying that I'm sponsored by Jesus because, well, it's all for his glory anyway. And so let's see, what are we doing here? Today's message is actually a picture that I took yesterday, and I'll read it. Consider it a sheer gift. Now, I'm reading now the message version, and I want to say one other housekeeping fact. I'm tuned today for all you guitar players who want to jam along with me. I am tuned into a standard E tuning. So A is 440. It's not 432 like I usually play. So back to the message. Just like I said, is James 1, 2, and 4. He says, consider it a sheer gift. Friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides, you know that under pressure, your faith life is forced in the open and show its true colors. Don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do your work so that you mature and become well developed, not deficient in any way. And it's funny because I've had some challenges. The past 6 weeks have been incredibly challenging. And so, and I had to do a lot with faith. Just go, well, you know, I know that this is a long game. I know that it's going to, we knew that it was going to be a little challenging, and it has been. So, um, what I wanted to do tonight or today, depending on when you're watching this, is talk about some of the signs I've received by God. I mean, it's been some crazy stuff. A few years ago, um, I was reading a book called Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I have been in the motivational realm for a long time, inspirational motivational realm. My dad gave me a Earl Nightingale's "The Greatest Secret," like when I wasn't even 10 years old, and he gave me a little recording, and it's the greatest secret. And that is basically the secret of Think and Grow Rich. And I won't tell you where the secret is, but reading it, there's a chapter on the invisible guides. And I thought that's a little spooky, a little creepy, a little strange. Invisible guides. I'm not going to talk to um, like demons. I mean, I'm just not that guy. And I'm not, I have prayed for angels to go before me at certain times. Of course I have, because it says in the Bible you should do that. So I have, but not often. But I was reading another book that was talking about having mentors and that your mentors can be people that are here that you can sit down and talk with and get their ideas, but it can also be people that have gone before you and that our minds have these things called mirror images. And if you think about somebody, the mirror image of this person can develop and your mind will reflect it back to you. I don't know how it works. We're going to have to talk to God about that because it's a pretty incredible thing, but I'll tell you that for a fact. During that part of my life, I was also reading every day. I was reading a proverb a day. Now, it's a funny thing about proverbs. There's 31 proverbs, and there are months with 31 months in it. Now, the month that has 28 or 29, depending on what year it is, Can you imagine an alien listening to this right now going, what is he talking about? Well, we know that there's a month that has either 28 or 29 days every once in a while. We also know that now this is how you know we came up with the system because it's so imperfect. Um, that we have months that have 30 days and we have months that have 31 days. So there's 31 proverbs. When there are certain points of the every decade that I read a proverb a day for either 28, 29, 30, or 31 proverbs in a month. I hope you're following this. It makes perfect sense to me. But I read the message. I read a version of the Bible called the Message. And as I was reading it during this time, he was talking about things like Madam Wisdom stands in the center, and calls out to people, come and be with me and be wise. And I'm like, well, that's somebody you should talk to. And it was talk about Lady Insight. And I'm like, Lady Insight's pretty cool. And as I was reading, a couple pages more, he starts talking about brother knowledge. And I'm like, huh. So these people are imaginary people used to describe wisdom in um, in the Bible and Proverbs. And Proverbs is the book of wisdom. So, well, what if this is going to sound funny. What if I created a round table? And I won't show it to you, but I do have it right here. Let's pull it up. I created a round table, and maybe I can show you this. I wonder if I can show you, because no, I won't be able to. I know I won't be able to. So I have a round table, and on my round table, I have certain people. So at the very beginning of my round table, and let me tell you, there's a park called Percy Priest Lake, and there's a closed area on Elm Hill Marina that you can walk to, and it takes about 10 minutes to walk to it because they've closed the area a long time ago. They don't open it for any reason. You have to pay for parking now. It's $8 to go, but there's that actual round concrete table there. And so I've had meetings for years, probably 4 or 5 years, at this round table. And surrounding the table, I have next to me the Holy Spirit because he is also known as the counselor. So he's a great person to have as a mentor. Another person I have, which is kind of funny, is I have the future me. He's my me from 20 years ago, or 20 years from now. And he's really, he's me. Has a great sense of humor, tremendous vision and insight, but he's been where I am now because he's 20 years into the future. So I counsel with him, and he gives me a lot of hope and direction and guidance. Next to him, I have blessings because why wouldn't I want to hear from blessings? So blessings is at the table, and blessings tells me blessings is like a teenager. He's kind of a fun guy, and so but he gives me all kinds of information. Next to him, I have peace of mind. Peace of mind is a gentle. I can't describe peace of mind. What I see. Um, she's a woman. She's um, very um, oh, how would I say? Probably has cats. Probably incense. She's very spiritual, not religious. Very spiritual. Think Rihanna. There, not Rihanna, but Rihanna. The one, Stevie Nicks. When kind of Stevie Nicks with dark hair and younger, a lot younger, even younger than she was in Fleetwood Mac. So yeah, that's a great description. Kind of, well, it's close as I can get with incense, and cats. Maybe I've never seen her cats. Next to her, though, is Brother Knowledge. Brother Knowledge is like smart dude. I mean, he knows everything. He's like a library. He's really a smart. He's not my librarian, if you remember that episode, but he is really full of knowledge. Now, There was one time when the person I'm about to describe is new to the table. It's a she, and they said there was somebody. All the guys said there's somebody we want you to meet, and I might start crying with this because it's pretty sensitive. I said, yeah, okay, if you want to bring somebody who is it. And have you ever heard that line of the song when love walked in? Well, love, as a actual being, walked in and took a seat at my table. And the insights I get from the love perspective um, are pretty amazing. And I know I'm crying now. I can feel wetness on my cheek. I drank too much water and I'm leaking out my eyes. That was loud. Okay, so I'm leaking out my eyes. But anyway, love walked in. Oh, I'm not. Water's leaking out my nose too. That sucks. Anyway, so love walked in, sat down at the table, and so I have love at my seat. I also recently had trust there. I had loyalty there. They're on hiatus right now. They're kind of on vacation because I'm not doing what I needed to do when I needed trust and loyalty. It's not that I don't trust and I'm not loyal. I have incorporated them so much that they've I don't need them at the table. I'm not doing anything where I need to trust or I need loyalty because I've made the decision. This is what I'm doing for the next 20, 30 years till I'm called to the counselor's home. So, until I walk in. Let's put it that way. Next, I have common sense. Common sense is going to be there because I need common sense. I really do. And so common sense is at the table and it gives me, you know, answers at a common sense perspective, and I have clear thinking next to him. And clear thinking and common sense are both brothers. It's clear thinking and common sense, and they're both good guys, really good guys. They don't drink. Well, I don't think clear thinking drinks. I don't know about common sense. I'm pretty sure if he does, he doesn't drink a lot. Next to those two, the two brothers, are Madam Insight, and Madam Insight gives me insights into things I would never really know. I've had people before go, "How did you know that was going to happen?" There's no way you could have known that was going to happen. Well, that comes from Madam Insight. She has insights of things, and you know, is she ever wrong? Well, I don't know. So far, the answer is no. And then next to her, of course, is Lady Wisdom, who joined. And Lady Wisdom is really cool chick. I mean, seriously, she's really cool, and she holds no punches. She tells it straight to the heart, and she sits exactly on my left side, and I got the Holy Spirit on my right side, and we go around the table. So I counsel with these guys sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, sometimes I might go a week or two, maybe a month or two without. They are always um, here. They're always on my mind. I know that they're always there to be called and counseled on whenever I have a deep problem or emergency or something that I need to deal with. And they've been tremendously helpful in my life. Um, and so the times like this, when it says in James 1, and that's the reason I brought that up, is because there are times in James 1 when um, your faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors. Well, every time I read that, oh my gosh, I might have to stop this for a minute and get clean. I don't have anything to wipe my nose with in here. Darn it. Okay. I remember seeing a demonstration one time where a guy took a jar, a mason jar, and he filled it halfway full of water. Now we were at a seminar, and there was I don't know a couple hundred people there maybe, and he took the lid and he screwed the lid on a little bit, not all the way. He goes, just to let you know, just show you, I'm not tightening this. I'm just placing the lid on so it doesn't shake off. He goes, here we go, and he shook it, and he shook it, and water went everywhere. I mean, the poor guys in the first 4 or 5 rows, the stage, the guy himself, the table, everything got covered in water because he shook it and shook it and shook it. You put it down. Everybody's laughing and talking, and pandemonium as the front people were in the splash zone. And so he goes, "Now I have a question. Why did the water come out?" "Dude, seriously, it's because you shook the jar." He goes, "Any other reason?" So like, "Yeah, it's because you didn't have the lid screwed on tight. If you had screwed the lid on tight, you would have come." And okay, any other reasons? Any other reasons? Any other reasons? He goes, "Okay, the truth is the water came out because the water was in there to begin with. Inside of all of us, we're either filled with blessings, and we're filled with faith, and we're filled with God's conviction, and we're full of trust and loyalty and forgiveness and love and perseverance, or we sometimes leak when we're shaken up. We're sometimes leak if we don't have our lids screwed on all the way. We sometimes leak if there's a problem and it challenges on. Whatever's inside of us will bubble out when a car pulls in front of you. Will bubble out when you get a call from the teacher. Will bubble out when you get schooled by somebody. Or you run into, and I believe this firmly, that half the people on the earth are below average. And you can usually tell them because the first thing out of their mouth is, "Well, I think it's more than half." Well, average is the halfway mark. So if you're below average, that's probably what you think. Anyway, but bottom line is, so, half the people are below average, and you can't be frustrated at them. You have to be fascinated with them, that somehow they're making it through life as frustrated as they are, and with bubbling forth things that probably aren't blessings and fruits of the Spirit. Um, so in their lives, they're shaken up. So I wanted to say that because, whenever I read this passage and it says that, the life, um, your faith life is forced out in the open when you are attacked by things from all sides. And so just let things do the work, and become mature and well developed, and not deficient in any way. Make sure you are going to have times when your lid's not screwed on. Just realize this, and you're going to have times that you're shaken up. Realize this. This is life. This is going to happen to you. But what's going to bubble out of you is either going to be frustration or fascination. And it's whatever you put inside of you that allows that to happen. And you can mirror, like the mirror neurons will take into effect what you see as it's happening to you. That's why we can go to movies and get entertained, because our mirror neurons watch these and go, "Oh, well, that's happening to us, and we're overcoming, and we're defeating, and we're facing this conflict, and we're overcoming it, and we're getting out of it." And that's how it kind of how it works for some reason. Well, the same thing with your guides and your counselors. Now, what I wanted to talk about today also was signs, because there's been a few times in my life that I've had signs from God. One time I was meeting with the counselors, and it was getting to be fall, and I don't like winter. I love having three springs and a fall. And so my hands don't play well. I've been in extreme cold, and I'm not a fan of it at all. And so I was like, where am I going to go this winter? I didn't have the money to go overseas. I couldn't go on a mission trip. I had, made some not bad decisions, but I wasn't in a place where I could just take off for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So I said, okay, well, where do I go? And so the counselor said, pick two cities that you don't like. Well, at the time, the two cities I didn't like was Las Vegas, Sin City. Why would I go to Sin City? And the other one was New Orleans, the Big Easy. Oh, I don't do things easy. I like to work, So why would I go to the Big Easy? And I've been to both of them many, many times. Made bad decisions at both of them, and it was just, I'm like, okay, God, seriously, why do you want me to go to these places? And He said, there's people there that I love. and I want you to go meet them. Okay, sure. Okay. So uh I said I'll go to New Orleans. It's closer. And I got the gas for that. Always about money. So I went I was sitting about I guess 3 weeks later, planning to go to New Orleans. We'd made all the plans. And I'm at Radden Lake at my spot that I go to the round table. And I'm like, okay, God, I don't ask you for signs often. I have before, but I'm really, really, really going to need a sign that you want me to go to New Orleans. And I hear this squawk, this call, this bird sound above me. And I look up, and it was a bald eagle. Now, I don't know if you guys have bald eagles where you are. We're in Nashville, and that time, probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago, there had not been a sighting of a bald eagle in Nashville in almost 40 years. Zero. I mean, zero. No bald eagles. And there's one. And I'm like, huh. Now, I had seen a bald eagle before in uh, Oregon, so I knew what they looked like. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, nobody's going to believe this. So I pulled out my phone, started taking pictures because nobody's going to believe I saw a bald eagle in Nashville. That wasn't until about 3 years later that he was seen again. So there are bald eagles. There is a pair of bald eagles at a place in Nashville. I don't think I'm going to say where it is because I don't know if they want it to be that public. Needless to say, so there are bald eagles and they're returning, and that's great. But that's one of the signs I got from God. I said, well, I guess at this point I'm going to New Orleans, and had a phenomenal trip. Met some great people. It was so much fun. I was on tons of TV shows. My girlfriend, who wasn't my girlfriend at the time, came down because she was having incredible struggles in her life. So she came down. I put her up and got her in some movies and TV shows, and that's where she. Yeah, I think you guys know that we met on the TV show Nashville, but she decided to go and become full time acting while we were down there and down in New Orleans. And we had just a great time. I was there for just a couple months, took off. She stayed there for like 6 months. I mean, we're now a long distance couple, but she's in New Orleans. I'm in Nashville. She's from Nashville, living in New Orleans. It's just nuts. You know, fun, fun little life. We'll put it that way. The next little sign it just popped in my mind that I'm going to talk about. Let's see how I'm doing with time. Probably not going to talk more about just one. No, it's 20 minutes. So next little sign that I had was we're in LA and we were broke. We had zero money. We're thousands of miles from where we live. No job. We had a job coming up the next day. This was on Monday. We had a job coming up, and I was going to get checks on Wednesday from work that we did in the past week, but we were at like nothing. I had an eighth of a tank of gas in my van, and I had $1.73, I believe that number was, on my credit card, on my Starbucks card. No money at all besides that. That was it. I mean, there no hard money, no soft money, no foldable money, nothing. And so we woke up. It was Sunday morning. We weren't going to church at the time, and we were sleeping in the van. We both had sleeping bags. If you guys not the same one, we had two different sleeping bags. So you guys freaking out. Oh, Christian guy sleep with his girlfriend. We had two sleeping bags. Needless to say, it turned out, I woke up. I said, "Well, let's go and see if I can get a coffee for $1.75, and we'll split it over at Starbucks." And so we started up the car and rode down the road, and I saw something in the road that I bypassed. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I backed up to see what it was, and it was a dozen red roses from Kroger. Or I'm sorry, from Ralph's. I picked it up. I said, I think there's a sign from God. He wants to give you flowers. And she goes, this isn't from God because God knows I don't like red roses. I like pink roses or yellow roses or white roses. I don't like what red roses. I'm like, huh. Well, you mind if I take them back? I said it came from God, but it also came from Ralph's, and I don't know why they're in. I mean, it was a like somebody had taken a bouquet and laid it on the roof. There was no scuff marks, no thrown out of the window. There was no broken petals. I was just the craziest thing. And so we took it back to Ralph's. And remember, I'm an actor. So I walked in, and the guy comes up to the little manager. This is seriously 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He walks in. It's Sunday morning, and I put the thing. I said, "Dude, I don't have a receipt," and she said, "No." He goes, "Been there, man." He goes, "I can't give you. I think it was $15 cash. I can't give you the $15 cash, but I can give you what was it? It was $10 in cash and a $5 gift card." I'm like, perfect. So he gave it to me, and it turned out $18 or something with tax. And so uh, we went. We put $10 in for gas. We went to Ralph's and had a couple sandwiches and a salad, and we split the salad and had the sandwiches. It was great. Worked the next day. We were on set. Worked that turned out to be a whole week work the work, and we got by. But once again, a sign from God. Call it what you will. There was no reason for those flowers to be in the middle of the road. Next one was probably, I don't know if this was before or afterward. I want to say it was after the roses. We had been called back because every time we went to LA, there was an emergency that my girlfriend had to come back to Nashville. Always had an emergency. It was just like, we got to be back in 3 days. Okay. So we would drive back all the way 2,000 miles, 40-hour drive to get back to Nashville. We drive straight through, guys. And we get back to Nashville and take care of the things. Well, one day, her and I were walking on the greenway that we walked. And we're up above in a clear panel. There used to be a duck pond there. And she uh she goes, "I don't understand it. I don't know why God holds these carrots out in front of us and dangles them in front of us like we're supposed to get it, but we can never quite get it." And I looked over, and she was walking beside me, and I looked over, and in the sky were three bunnies in clouds. I mean, like Easter bunnies. And the three bunnies in there. There was one on profile, two of them front ways, and my girlfriend draws this bunny jumping over a log. It's kind of cute, but you've never seen anything like it except for her drawing it. That bunny was up in the sky. I mean, it was her bunny. It was her bunny, and three other bunnies. Now, her spirit creature is a bunny. Mine is a dove. One time when I was driving down the road in Oklahoma, you'll see on my Facebook page, there's a picture of a dove that was in clouds because I had been praying, and I looked up and just kind of like, God, am I doing the right thing? And there's a dove. It's like, huh, that's kind of a sign from God. There's a dove right there. So, um, I once again took out my camera, took a picture because nobody's going to believe this. Anyway, so I had a dove in the sky. She had four bunnies in the sky, and they were like, she was like, she's from a faith that believes that God gave signs to people at a time. But she would hear me talk about seeing signs and wonders. And she was like, "Art, what does that mean?" It's like, it means God has your back. He's watching you. You're okay. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Just keep on pushing through. Persevere until you complete the mission because then you'll be completely free. Um, and what does it say at the end? Because, let's face it, James says it better than I. Let it do its work in you, the trials and tribulations, so that you become mature and well developed, not deficient in any way. And isn't that what we want? Is just to be non deficient in any way, just having no lack of anything, that our entire life is just full of blessings. And you can, if blessings is one of your guides at the table. That was a little sneaky thing, didn't mean that. And let's see, there's a number of times I've had personally signs and wonders. I wanted to share the one with my a couple of them with my girlfriend because miracles seem to. Yeah, I would tell people all the time that miracles happen all the time around me. I don't have anything to do with them except being there and to explain to the people that are having it happen why it's happening. So I have nothing to do with the miracles except they do. It's kind of Twilight Zone-ish how often strange things happen around me. And that was one of the challenges I was going through recently because I had made a big miscalculation on my budget. I mean, like 6 weeks behind on certain things. And so I had to meet with my counselors in my 20-year-old self, 20, my future self. Um, I don't know if I should say it. My future self is very, 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 very well off. And he said, it was so comforting for him to say, Art, you do get to be me and where I am. So you do have to go through this, but you end up here. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I do end up like you. And he's like, exactly. So that's hope. This morning, I came into work and set out my little bagel and got my little coffee, and I'm sitting there drinking. And I looked out past the elevator doors. I have a writing room in this building, and I looked out the doors, and I could see through a conference black sky. I'm like, oh my goodness, that must be the storm that passed last night. But it's north of us, and usually they come to us. So I walked out to a conference room, walked into. I have a little conference room that I use. It's kind of my favorite. Off the side, there's 5 conference rooms. I use the little one off the back, and I went in there and was looking at it. And as I'm watching, you see a rainbow develop. Now, that was the same conference room that I was in 2 days ago when my future self was saying, don't worry, you get to grow up to be me. And it's just once again another sign. Now, I understand how physics work of light through rain and creating refractions and prisms. I get it. Pretty cool, the timing. That's all I'm going to say. The timing is I'm sitting there just watching the storm that has passed, and there at the bottom of it forms a rainbow. And then knowing today that I'm going to be doing a topic on signs and wonders by God. So it's like, okay, I get it. You're watching me. You got this. You got this covered. So I guess there's so many. I mean, you guys, I could go on for hours about the signs and wonders I've had in my life. Yeah, because there's been a few. I'm going to go down here to shows and see what songs I'm doing here. I'm going to do an old song to start with. So this is in the key of E for those of you. I've done it before. It was written by Saint Francis of Assisi back in the year 820, 870, I think. It's 800. It doesn't matter. It's 800, let's face it, it was 1200 years ago. Sometime 1200 years ago, St. Francis of Assisi wrote the song. And he wrote it because they they kind of kicked him out of Italy because he was walking around preaching to animals, to birds and doves and bunnies, and trying. I don't know if he was saving their souls or just practice. I think he was practicing preaching. Anyway, so they sent him. They said, well, we're going to send you to the Celtic Islands. Couple reasons. People tended to die when they went out there to preach in the 800s. And so he wrote back to the Pope and said, yeah, I'm doing quite well out here. I'm not dead yet. And but they don't like our style of Gregorian chant. And so the Pope Gregory, I believe at the time, wrote back and said, well, um, congratulations on not being dead yet. Give it time. And I just knew that. And I'm paraphrasing anyway. But he said, why don't you write some music more in their style and, see how it goes. So he wrote a couple of songs. And because he talked about animals and was kicked out for preaching animals, this is a song called All Creatures of Our God and King. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me see if you can see my guitar. Oh my goodness, I still had that tip jar up all the time. Oh my goodness, I wonder how many tips I got in that. Let's turn that thing off. I just one time have to check the setting. I'm not hearing my guitar and I'm wondering why. Okay, you're hearing my guitar. Well, that's all I needed to know. Ah, see what we're since we're talking about blessings, also we're gonna do a song called "Being Out My Vision." Since we're talking about seeing God's works, seeing His hand, seeing His signs, seeing His visions. So this is called "Being Out My Vision." It's an Irish song again too, not written by Saint Francis. I don't usually play in this position. It's a little different here. Try it again. Now, see if we can get this one done. This is called God of Wonders. God of wonders, beyond all majesty, Lord of heaven and earth. Heavenly Father, please bless the people who are watching this today. If they have any questions, any doubts, any fears, any wonderings whatsoever about their future, let them pull their future self to talk to them and just give them, because he's been there, she's been there. Their future selves know what they're going through and know how they got out of it. Um, and Lord, just give them a sign if they need a sign. If there are people of faith that do not need a sign from you, perfect, great. But I know that even though I'm a person that believes strongly in you, I see your signs and your wonders and your miracles in your hand, and I'm just blown away that the God who created all this would spend his time perfecting a little, I hate to say, a sign that would meet us right where, that would meet 8.5 billion people on this planet. And that God, you are a God that comes and cares about every single one of us. And you just keep popping more and more signs in my head, things that you've done in the past. And I think this will be another episode for the future. So thank you so much, Lord. Bless these people who are listening to this and let them continue on with just a wonderful, wonderful, um, wonderful life in you. In your precious name, Jesus. Amen. Okay, guys, that's it. If you are having challenges and want to see a gift from God, um, I got to let you know you might be it for somebody else. I know you think you want to see a gift, but you might just be somebody else's blessing. So go out there, be instrumental, and bless somebody today. In the name of Jesus. Goodbye. See you next week. Next week. Yeah. See ya.